Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Math 10C, Chapter 6, Lesson 5, General Form of the Equation for a Linear Relation. Yes, we skipped Lesson 4. Anyway, so two ways to write out the equations we've talked about. The first is the slope-intercept form here. Slope-intercept form. That's the y equals mx plus b version. Now that's what's directly on your calculator, and that's the first thing on your formula sheet. If you go to the formula sheet and look in lower left, they got a bunch of different ways to write out the equation. Now, the other way I want to talk about is the general form here. Notice it's 5x minus 2y minus 10 is 0. These are both the same equations, same line, just written out differently. Now, okay, the slope-intercept form of the blue one is the way you put it in your graphing calculator. The general form is what I want to briefly talk about today. Now, I want to stress the general form is when all the terms are on the left side of the equation. And that is, if you go right to your formula sheet, it goes ax plus by plus c equals 0. And I want to change colors because, anyway, make it blue. So the coefficients are integers, and the coefficient of x is a positive integer, is the first in the equation. So we write it like this. Okay? Now, if you go to the internet and start doing some research or Khan Academy or whatever, you'll see there's also the standard form. I mention this now, but I don't talk about it in class. And yes, sometimes I'll write it out like that. I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to write it out as the general form. So how would you turn the standard form to general form? Move the c over, subtract c from both sides. Okay? So subtract c from both sides to write it as the general form. But the general form and the slope-intercept form are the two I want to talk about today. Okay? Now, just to be on the safe side, in case I do screw it up, what's the general form look like? Well, the general form is like this. All together equals 0. What does the standard form look like? X plus y equals some number. Okay? Now, can we rearrange this so that we have all of our general forms in the green circle? Oh, yes. This is general form. X plus y plus a plus b plus c. Yeah, sorry. My apologies. I'm talking to myself. A is the coefficient in front of x, or the number in front of x. B is the number in front of y, and c is the constant value. So all equals 0. Now, can I cram them all in here? Let's see if I can. And do I have anything else? So I believe everything else is standard form. Yes. Something plus x plus y equals some number. Yes. There we go. So all the rest of these are in standard form. And no, I generally don't talk about them. I just want you to look at them. Oh, yeah. That's written the other way. Anyway. So writing it in general form, this is what I want you to be able to do. Rewrite it as ax plus by plus c is equal to 0. So let's look at this one. So y equals minus 3x plus 5. 1y equals minus 3x plus 5. How do I rewrite that so it equals 0? I'd add 3x to both sides. And I'd subtract 5 from both sides. So I got 3x plus 1y minus 5 equals 0. Now, that's in general form, I think. Now, let me double check. So I'm going to pause for a sec, have you look at that. I did that kind of quickly, but now going back to general form, all the terms on the left side, yes. The coefficients are integers. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not fractions, not decimals. And the coefficient of x is a positive integer. Let me double check that one. Yes. Now, what about this one on this other one here? 8x minus 3y equals 52. How do I get that equal to 0? Yes, subtract 52 from both sides. So rewriting this in general form, it's 8x minus 3y minus 52. Okay. So far, so good? Now, you'll notice this is the one thing I'm stressing in the lesson because it's the one thing that I consider important. And why? I'll show you in a few minutes. Now, let's do this next one. Y equals 1/2 x plus 3. Okay. Now, The trick here, in general form, what I said, all the coefficients are integers. Integers like a whole number, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So if I rewrote this as y equals 1/2 x plus 3, how do I get rid of a half? Well, or divide by 2. I multiply everything by 2. So this becomes 2y equals x plus 6. All right? So far, so good? Now, how do I get everything over on the left and get this equal to 0? Well, subtract x from both sides, subtract 6 from both sides. And I'm down to minus x plus 2y minus 6 equals 0. So far, so good? Now, one last little thing. The coefficient of x is positive. Poopy. Because I have a minus x here. So how do I get rid of a minus 1? I think that's minus 1. Well, the easiest thing is to multiply everything by minus 1. So I'm going to move that over a little bit, give myself a smidge more space. All right, don't do that, you wombat. Not when people are watching. Stop that. Multiply everything by minus 1. So minus 1 times minus 1x becomes plus x. Minus 2y minus 1 times minus 6 is plus 6 is 0. There we go. That's written in general form. Okay? Now, the last example, 3x minus a half y equals 6. I'm going to pause the recording. I want you to turn that into general form. Everything on the left side. And then I'll come back and we'll compare answers. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what I did was I realized, well, two things I got to do. I got to make it equal to 0, so I subtract 6 from both sides. So I got 3x minus the half y minus 6 is 0, which is good. The only problem is I can't have fractions here. It's got to be whole numbers or integers for everything. So how do I get rid of divide by 2? I multiply everything by 2. And notice I'm multiplying the 0 by 2 also. So I multiply both sides of the equation by 2, so I'm not changing anything. And I got 6x minus y minus 12 is 0. That's the equivalent form of the equation. That's what I need you to be able to do. That's the hard part of the lesson. Okay? Now, the easier part, or the second of 3 things you got to be able to do, is turn the general form into the slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b. That is, solve for y. Okay? So, how do I get the y all by itself here? Well, first thing I do, minus 4x from both sides, and add 12. So I get minus 3y equals minus 4x plus 12. Okay? Now, how do I get rid of times minus 3? Yes, I divide both sides by minus 3. So y equals minus 4 divided by minus 3x. 12 divided by minus 3 is minus 4. Now, traditionally, we don't write it as minus 3 divided by minus 4. We cancel out the minuses and we get 4/3. Okay? So question was, sorry, first, you see what I did? I hope so. And now the question was find the slope. I just wanted the slope there. I didn't want the entire equation. Now, I'm going to pause the recording. I want you to do the same thing for the equation on the right. Solve for y and tell me what the slope is. Okay? Okay, welcome back. So, I realized first thing I should do is subtract 6x from both sides and add 5 to both sides. So I'm down to 4y is minus 6x plus 5. So add, subtract first. Then how do I get rid of times 4? Divide everything by 4. And I got y is minus 6/4 x plus 5. Now, honestly, I'm happy with that, but I really want you to be able to simplify the fraction. Minus 6 over 4. Divide top and bottom by 2, you get minus 3/2. Now, if you have trouble with that, grab Mr. Calculator. Minus 6 divided by 4. Math fraction, spit out minus 3 over 2. and my slope is minus 3/2. That's what I need you to be able to do. That's the second of three things. All right. Now, first, the big thing is turn y equals mx plus b into the general form. That's harder. This, I think, is a little easier, but something I need you to be able to do. Now, the third thing is graphing using general form. Now, the real reason we use general form is because a zillion years ago, when the earth was green and dinosaurs ruled the world, and I had to walk 6 miles uphill to get to school, didn't have a graphing calculator, this was really easy to graph because we could find the x-intercept, that is y equals 0. So this would be 4x plus 0 minus 8 equals 0. So solve for x. Okay? So how do you get rid of minus 8 plus 8? So 4x equals 8. What does x equal? Divide both sides by 4, sorry. X equals 2. That's your x-intercept. Okay? So if you don't have a graphing calculator, this is the way you solve it. So 4x plus y minus 8 is equal to 0. And then we do the same thing for the y-intercept. The y-intercept, x equals 0. So 4 times 0 plus y minus 8 equals 0. 4 times 0 is 0. 0 plus y minus 8 is equal to 0, or y minus 8 equals 0. How do you solve for y now? Add 8 to both sides. So y equals 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there we go. That's our graph. 4x plus y minus 8 equals 0. That's how you draw a graph without a graphing calculator, using intercepts. You get 2 points and you draw a straight line between them. No, I didn't do the best straight line, but God bless Mr. Micro Squish for that. Okay? That's what you have to be able to do. So, the general form, or the standard form, like I'm showing here, just to screw with your mind, really, really easy to draw the graphs if you know the intercepts. Okay? So, let's do x-intercept, y equals 0, and over here, y-intercept, x equals 0. Now notice I wrote this in the wrong form just to screw with your mind, but let's do it anyway. So this is 7x plus 8 times 0 is 56. All right, what's 8 times 0? 0. So 7x is 56. How do I solve for x? Well, divide both sides by times 7, divide by 7. Oh, I need Mr. Calculator. Dang nabbit, I need Mr. Calculator here. So that, sorry, my Mr. Calculator is all right, don't turn on. I love Mr. Computer. One of these years. All right, do it the hard way. 7, 7, oh, that's 8. What am I smoking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, that's great. I got my grid wrong. Poopy. I hate this getting old. All right. Let's do the intercepts anyway. So the x-intercept is 8. The y-intercept, well, let's find out. This would be 7 times 0 plus 8y equals 56. 7 times 0 plus 8y is 56. 8y is 56. Divide both sides by 8. And you get y equals 7, I believe. That's embarrassing. Anyway, so that's roughly what the line looks like. That's what this graph looks like. Y 7x plus 8y equals 56. See how easy it is to graph when you have the intercepts and a proper piece of graph paper. I have to go back and fix this. Anyway, see how this goes? Not bad. Now, just to screw with your mind, how can I be evil? Well, here's a nasty question. Now, if you can get this, I'm really happy. If you're not, it's not so bad. But let's try it. Two numbers m and d have a sum of 14. Okay. Now, I'm going to write that as an equation. That's m plus d equals 14. Now, that's not general form. General form, it equals 0, so I got to subtract 14 from both sides. So general form is m plus d minus 14 is 0. Now, can I find some ordered pairs for that? Yes. Now, when I mean ordered pairs, let's find a few points where it works. So, right off the bat, I'm going to go m intercept d is 0. So m plus 0 minus 14, or m minus 14 is 0. M equals plus 14. Okay. Now, once again, my graph isn't big enough. So if I call this m, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I haven't got 4. What if I went 2, 4, 6, 8, 10? And 14 is right here. Now, d intercept m is 0. 0 plus d minus 14 is 0. D minus 14 is 0. D equals 14. So if I go d up here, I have the same problem. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Now a couple of other ordered pairs. Now what I mean by ordered pairs is plug in some numbers and see if they work. So the formula is m plus d minus 14 is 0. So let's go m is 2, just for the heck of it. Why not? So 2 plus d minus 14 is 0. D minus 12 is 0. So add 12 to both sides. D is 12. Now, a couple more points. M is 6. As I said, I'm just choosing some points here that are nice on the grid. So 6 plus d minus 14 is 0. 6 minus 8. D minus 8 is 0. D equals 8. Okay, so I'm just choosing points here. 10. D is 10. 6 plus, sorry, M is 10. God help me. So 10 plus D minus 14 is 0. 10 minus 14, that's D minus 4 is 0. Add 4 to both sides. D is 4. So let's plot these points. 10 and 4. 6 and 8. And 2 and 12 is here. Now, question, should the points be joined? I think yes, because that looks a whole lot like a straight line. Because if you can write this in general form, it's a linear equation. Because I can rewrite that as y equals mx plus b. I'm just lazy about it and don't want to do it. So, it is a linear equation. But it's easy to graph when I know the intercepts. Now, this one I admit is nasty. But can you find the x and y intercepts? Can you turn it into a slope point form? And can you turn it into general form? That's what I need you to be able to do. If you can do that, I'm really happy. If you've got that, great. Work on the check your understanding questions. If you haven't got it, shoot me an email. We'll talk about it, okay?